This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today we are just going to start the storage part, and this is the the storage of the AWS. We are just talking about Amazon S3. Okay, it's kind of bucket, and Amazon EBS. This is the volumes we can need to map with the EC2 instances or different kind of snapshots that we require sort of things, right? The third things we are just talking about the EFS is elastic file systems, and then we also need to map with the different VPCs so that it will shrink and increase the size of the file system same time it is requirement happen. Amazon Glacier is a archiving solutions. When you have more number of data, terabytes of data, you can just store on a particular area that you can just restoring the same time. Snowball is a storage solutions for the from the AWS, right? If you have more than 10 terabytes of data, or you can say that if you have more than 50 terabytes of data, you can just use a snowball solutions for your AWS, right? And the AWS storage gateway, you can just use storage gateway for yeah, on-premises data to your AWS solutions, right? Okay, so just like that, if you have the application servers and you need to map with your existing AWS solution, so you can just go for the AWS storage gateway. So the theoretical parts we have just cleared just in the previous classes. You can just go for it to get some advanced technicalities of this particular storage things. So we are just going to start today the Amazon S3 and this sort of things, the EBS, EFS, Glacier, Snowball, and Gateway. So it is depend on the situations, right? Where we have to use this sort of storage things in the AWS environment. So let's get started. The AWS, so the first thing is S3, right? Packet. So first of all, this is the storage part. We have going to it is AWS console we are just talking about, and the other number of features available, and what have you done in the previous sort of things that it is showing your history, right? So we are just talking about the S3, and S3 it is a bucket sort of things, and we can object based storage. So there it is. So the console is open of S3 bucket, right? So simply you just have to just create a bucket over there. Create a name of the bucket. So the name should be unique, right? And the where you have to map this particular bucket into different regions. So we are in the going for the Asia Pacific Mumbai locations, right? And it is simply you have to just create options. So there are the two ways of creating the bucket. The first way I have already discussed about, simply just provide the name of the particular bucket and provide a region name, and then it is created, right? And another way we can create it, some advanced sort of things. So we have specific things that we have click on this particular MK bucket, and then we have to go to the properties, uh, right? And then we can make some changes. But if you would like to go for a bucket where you have to provide some advanced features, so go for it. MK create one, right? And this is also we have to just provide as per your requirement the Mumbai, and then okay, then we have to go for the next. So these are the some options will be coming: configure options, set permissions, and then review sort of things. And if you click on the create, then just simply the bucket is created, right? So we are going for some advanced sort of things. Okay, so the versioning I already discussed in the previous classes, that the duplicacy sort of things. So if you don't want the duplicacy in your uh, S3 bucket, you just simply click on it. And if you require some server access logging sort of things, so you can just click on it, right? So what which uh, which requests are logging into the server, all sort of informations are, and is available here. Okay, you can just go for it as per your requirement. And this is the tags. You can just provide as per your requirement. This is the tag number 1 or tag number 2, whatever the value. This is our database sort of, what tag. You can just provide it as per your requirement. Just like that, you just providing the service asset number of your asset, right? This is the same kind of bucket. So you can just easily understand what are the PC EC2 instances. You can just map it out, or if you're going for the cloud trail, cloud formation sort of things. So you can just use case. What is the use case of this particular thing, or you can just object level. So it is you can, if you click on this particular, so that it will record all your APIs on the AWS cloud trail. So we will click on here as well, and we can do later on once it is created. Do we require some automatically encryption of this particular buckets? So you can simply click here, and we can also done it later on. So my options will be going for later on. We can just going for it. And the public accessible and access list is available. Block new public access control list uploading objects. So you can simply just click on it, and you just features is available, right? Does this bucket is have to publicly accessible or not accessible? So you can just click on it, and the grant permission as the lock group right access to the bucket, and the grant permission group access. So what kind of bucket permissions you can just going to provide it? You can just simply click here, right? So by default, any bucket you have created, it is a private bucket. It's not it's only available on the S3 consoles. But if you make it publicly, you can just have to make some settings over it. So I will let you know that how to make a settings of publicly accessible of the particular bucket. Okay, so we have created two types of bucket. MK create simply, we have created the bucket, and then MK create one. This is some advanced features we have added. So what we're going to do it, this is MK bucket. We have opened it, and then we are going to upload some of the files from my systems, or you can just upload any bucket sort of things, right? So simply we are just going to add some, this is the Azure sort of things we are going to map it, and then we have to upload it, right? So this is the manage users. This is your user ID. This is you have one. This is my owner, and the owner can read and write, and object permissions or available same times. If you have some different account, right, other than suppose you're using your own account, right? So you can have options available. You can just add your AWS account same times, right here. You please provide your ID here, your email ID, whatever, and what sort of permissions you require on a particular object. That sort of things we can do it here, right? So it's depend on it, and do not grant public read access to the object. So this is recommended from the Amazon, right? So you can grant public accessible from this object. It's depend on you what you're going to do it, right? And this is the property set. So you have I already discussed in the previous classes that there are three types of the S3 buckets. This is all about the standard infrequent access. If you frequently actively access the bucket, then it is by default standard, and it is in if you are not accessing the files objects from this particular S3 bucket is in, so that long delivered infrequently accessed data, you can have options. You can just click on it, and if you long lived frequently accessed data, not critical data, you can just click on it, and they reduce redundancy frequently accessed and non-critical data, you can just click on it. So it is depend on you what kind of S3 bucket you're choosing it, F bucket type you're choosing it, and these are some minimum storage durations 30 days, and this 30 days and per GB fees apply. So different price cases have happened, different timing is happened, different type of S3 bucket type is also available. Okay, so it is depend on you what you're going to use it as per your company requirement, right? And this is encryption, so there is no encryption at this point of time. So if you can use it Amazon S3 master key, you can use it, and AWS KMS master key you can use it. So AWS KMS master key, it means that you have a specific key for it is used for every instances or EC2 instances. You can use it into the S3 bucket or different Glacier or all sort of things. One key, and it is used for everywhere. And this is master key, you can use it, so you can just create all sort of things. But we can do later on all sort of things. So this is all about the tagging. You can just create your tags. It's a database tag or what kind of text tag is available. So it is up to you that what settings you need to map it out, and that is only one thing you can going to upload it. And this is one successful sort of things, right? And this is Azure 2 JPG file is uploaded into this particular right? So we can also options available. We can create a new folder here. Right, and does this bucket have encryptions? Do we require? Yes, if we require encryption, then simply click on this particular AES56. If you require KMS key encryption with the master key managed sort of things, you can just click on it here. That sort of simple things are available here. So this is a testing folders available, and you can just different sort of things you can do it here. So suppose if you're going to click here and then going to the actions available, then you can just move your file, or you can just cut your file, or you can just publicly accessible sort of things. So there are a number of features are available, so you can just do whatever you like it, right? So you can just download it, you can just make some different actions, so you can just use as per your requirement, right? So we are just moving to a different one. This is a properties case, right? So the all sort of features we have not using it once we created this particular bucket. It is very simply bucket we created, okay, and we have not provided any kind of advanced features. So we have available the advanced features availabilities over there. So simply you have to understand what is all about. If you're talking about the versioning, what is the use of versioning? This suspends the creation of objects versions of all operations and by preserves any existing object version. So you can just simply enable the versioning. Yes, it is right. And server access logging, so you can just simply we have to enable, and we have to just choose the bucket which bucket we are just going to add it, and any prefixes we can add it, or you can just save it. So you have to understand what sort of things we are going to do it, and what is the use cases as per if you have hosting a website that is also, it is the direct request and disable website hosting and use this bucket to host website, so you can use it. That's a simple things. You can just click over here and then provide your content here and provide HTML code here. Everything the options will be available. So different use cases you can just use it. If you require some encryption sort of things, you can just click on this AES 256 sort of things, and then it will be encrypted. S3 bucket is available. Go for some advanced settings. So this is the tags is available. So I already mentioned that if you would like to provide some authentications, or what some things that this is used for database, so this is used for different sort of use case. So you can just provide the name that is used for database, this is used for EC2 instances, this is used for some different sort of things. So it is the requirement. Transfer accelerations, it enables fast, easy and secure transfer of files to from your bucket. So this is a transfer sort of things, right? Simply you have to just click on enable it, and it will be enabled or endpoint faster and data transfer from S3 bucket to the different destination end. So receives notifications when specific events occur in your bucket. So you can just click on it here and just provide some what email ID of your what type of request is if you going for put and post and copy sort of things, and delete, mark the creator sort of things. What type of things you require, and provide the name of the bucket and provide some suffix over there and send to. Provide, you can just provide your own email ID, or if you have configured the SNS topic, we will talk later. SNS is basically you can just create your email ID or your phone numbers, then it will that send the report to your email ID or your phone numbers. That is the use case of your S3 bucket. So that's depend on you what sort of configurations you have made it. So this is events. You can get the events report of your S3 bucket same times, and then you can easily analyze that what is going on with your S3 bucket at same times, right? And another object is that the requester instead of the bucket owner will pay the request of a data transfer. So is there any data transfer has happened or not transfers has happened? So this sort of things is available. The requester pay sort of things, right? So we have this is the properties of this particular S3 bucket. So you can just have modifications as per your requirement, right? And these are some permissions you can just modify it. So publicly accessible permissions, these are some publicly accessible recommended, the block the public accessible request, and the manage all sort of things, okay, true and false sort of things. So this is the access control permissions. So this is your own account, right? So everything is, what, the right object, yes, the bucket, yes, permissions are yes, is available. If you are a public accessible, so there is no public accessible this bucket. So you can just click on it, public accessible. You can just make some as active read write sort of things, and you can just modify as per requirement. So if it is a publicly accessible, then there are number of requests coming, and the as per your request you need to pay for it. The pricing has happened. So this is S3 log delivered to group. So you can just click on it, and the logs of this particular bucket will be sending to your cloud trail. And if you are using some different AWS accounts, so you can just provide some add the account of the particular user, okay, and you can just uh, um, a shared repository, only one repository, and you can use different AWS account, right? Suppose you have 5 clients you have, right, in the corporate environment, and 5 clients are using the one S3 bucket. So you can have map the AWS different accounts, right, into this AWS account, and this is the one access list. Sorry, S3 bucket is used for every 2 or 3 or 5 accounts same time. So we are just talking about the bucket policy. So what type of bucket policies is you have just providing it? It is available here. So there is no, right now there is no command line. So you can just delete the bucket policy when it is available, right? Once we created all sort of things, and all things are available. And these are the some course configurations. So what type of allowed permissions, not allowed permissions, all things are available here. So it is hide at the same time, right? So because we have not created any kind of bucket policy till now, we don't have provide any sort of course information, so right? So this once it is any issues happen to the S3 bucket, the AWS team will help you out to how to sort out the issues of the particular course and your bucket policy. So the other two types of we can use this particular S3 bucket we have used for API console, like we are using it right now on the website, right? And second way we are using this from the CLI mode as well, right? So these are the permissions you can just as publicly accessible permissions. So you can just provide different publicly accessible, private accessible, different AWS account accessible. Do we require the logs of the particular bucket, and we can provide the bucket policies at the same times, okay? And this is the course informations, and this is the management sort of things we are just talking about. So we are just talking about earlier that the S3 bucket is providing some, after the 30 days, it will data will be moved to the Glacier, and so that sort of things is happen. So we can add the particular rules here over there. So provide any different names you're just talking about. So this is the coming storage class transition. So the current version of previous version where we have to apply this particular transitions, right? You have options available, and then the expiration of options available. So do we require to expire our particular S3 bucket? So you can just clean up this expire object or delete the marks, or we can have options available clean up incomplete multi-part uploads within 7 days start from the upload. So as anything happened, then you can just provide the date to expiration. After 7 days it will be expired, all sort of things, right? So you have different options available, so you can just make some changes as per your requirement, and then you can just move it to the. So this is the expiration date of 7 days we have just provided, right? And this is a mark the test rules and scope, everything, so we have just provided it. So this is your lifecycle rules you have provided. You can have options available, so you can just disable it, you can enable it. Same times you can just delete it, and if you have any changes required, you can just add it. So the 7 days we have provided, it's 7 days. After the 7 days it will be deleted, or it will be moved to the Glacier, this sort of things. We can just have some modifications, we have done it, right? So this is the life cycle policy, how the S3 bucket, how if you have saved your any object into the S3 bucket, and how long it will what the object is existing into the AWS bucket, and then how after the 7 days or after the 8 days or 20 days, whatever the timing will be providing, what happened to the object same time, right? So this sort of life cycle policy we can apply it to the particular S3 bucket. The second options available, the replication. So we have already talking about this, the S3 bucket will be cross region replication. So you can have options available. You can just create a rule, right, and provide a set of destinations, configure options available, and simply things you can just go for it. So we are just talking about the entire bucket, or MK create. Yes, we are just talking about the same thing, and provide a bucket, a destination bucket. So where we have to create a destination bucket, because we have created this particular S3 bucket in the Mumbai locations, right? So we have going for the another bucket account, right? If you have options available, different account, you can go for it. Buckets in this account, then you can have to select an entire bucket name. So you can also create a new bucket name, and then you can just provide the name of the particular bucket, and then you get specific different regions are available, so you can just map to the different locations same time. Okay, so that sort of things you can just do it, the applications to the one different account same time. Okay, and that is the analytics. Analytics is basically what is indicate that you can enable a storage class analysis for the entire bucket, and share prefix to text. Amazon S3 analysis your access patterns and suggest a intended edge of the transition object and the standard IA or lifecycle rules. So you can just create a filter over there. So it is basically share the information that what kind of usage you are using it. Wait a second, I was just going to create some filter. So that this is the filter, right? So this is basically what you suggest. It is analytics. It is providing analysis of your data. Okay. So what type of patterns of your data, how is accessible your data and data, and we are analyzing your storage usage, and will be share the observed infrequent access of patterns. So what kind of how much objects are using it. Suppose you have different objects are available, and you have uploaded, right? So JPG files, MPG files, CSV files, different sort of files, and accessible, inaccessible, how it is using it. So it is analyzing all your data of your S3 bucket. So you can easily analyze that. We have different 1 GB of file, or different types of the file, and different the space of the file, types of the file, different sort of things. We can analyze it, and we can make some strategies as per requirement, right? So this is a filter we have applied it, so you can just easily analyzing the data. So data migration on that data, you can just Scientists are basically using it, so for particular things are available data. So the matrix is basically what is the matrix is just last 1 hour, last 3 hours, and 12 hours, 1 day, and 1 week or 2 weeks. How the data is accessible, who is going to access the data, and how many requests we have got it of the data, and how data is transferred. So you can have the what specific money, what type of how much money you have to spend on the particular storage, right? So you can just simply add a name and provide the mk create filter name, and this is another mk. So this is prefix, we are just going to use it and save it, right? So basically this is the we have different create some filters and different use cases sometimes, and how much data on the mk create request is got, and how much data is transferred from your bucket for the past 1 hour, 3 hours, 12 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, 2 weeks, and different time. Okay, so you have what understand that how what type of how much money you have to spend on the daily basis or weekly basis or 1 year basis, this sort of things. So you can easily understand what's going on actually. That is the inventory. So inventory, you can receive a file of your object inventory on a daily or weekly basis on an entire bucket or shared for prefix. So this is the inventory is basically tell you that what's going on with your S3 bucket, right? And it will sending you the report. What type of report you require? This is the two types of report is CSV format or ORCD mode, and objects are current in use case, right? Or you can go for odd versions, right? So what type of size of your S3 bucket you want to know, that does it replicated or not replicated, it is encrypted or not encrypted, and this is the encryptions you want or not want on your report. So that sort of things is we are just talking about. So simply just provide the name of the particular inventory name, anything. You can just provide the filters name, anything, and you can just provide the destinations, which bucket we are just talking about. Do we require this particular Mumbai locations bucket or some different type of bucket, and do we require the report on daily basis or weekly basis, so that easily what monitoring sort of things we can just do it into the S3 bucket, right? So that sort of information is the overview of this particular S3 bucket. And then we have particular properties, what type of options we have available, and what sort of things we can do it into the S3 buckets, right? So we can make some changes as per the requirement, right? And then what type of permissions you have to provide into your S3 bucket, whether it is publicly accessible or privately accessible. By default, when we creating the S3 bucket, it is privately accessible all the time, and then you can just make some changes over there. And then the policies, whatever you provided, the lifecycle policies, different things, it will be available here once, right? And the course information, so what type of allowed, disallowed, whatever things. If you are well developed software developer, you can just easily understand what's going on with your S3 buckets of informations. And this is the management, how you manage the particular S3 bucket. So the lifecycle policy, you can just create it, and that what is do we require some applications from the different regions? Do we require what's actually analyzing the data? What type of files? How much size of the file we are going to upload, and what type of data is available into your S3 bucket? All sort of things. And the matrix is basically tells you that what type of request, how much data is transferred, getting request. Okay, so as per this particular thing, so you can just make a strategy of your money, how it is spending on the S3. And this is inventory, this is a report sort of thing, so you can get a report of your S3 bucket at what's going on, how to do it, how the size of this bucket, all sort of things. So this is the S3 bucket which we have just completed right now. Okay, and once you're going to create or going to delete, so you just simply click on the mk create, and then copy the buckets here, then right, then you just click on the delete, or you can just simply click on the empty, and then you have to click on the particular provide the name of the particular S3 bucket. So it is, make sure that provided the correct name, then you're going to confirm it, so it will be deleted. So these two things are successfully deleted. So you can just create and delete your bucket. This is your, if you're going to empty, it is also required some, what's the name of your bucket. So simply you just copy here, paste it here, and then it is confirmed. So your bucket will be empty, or you can just going for the, simply click on the copy bucket error number, and then you need to be click here, and you can just delete it. Okay, so that is all about the S3 bucket. So S3 bucket basically, you can just map with your S3 EC2 instances and your platform versions, or whatever the logs of the particular EC2 instances, it will be directly moved to your S3 bucket. Okay, it's object-based storage. Okay, then move to the some different different. So there we are just going with the ABS Elastic block storage. We are just talking about ABS. We are going here. ABS you will find out in the EC2, and ABS basically tells you about the what kind of volumes you need to map with your EC2 instances. Well, it is used for mostly in your snapshot, right? So this is elastic block storage. This is the volume. So we have already discussed about the what is the difference between the all your volumes, right? So we just have to just create a volumes, and then you have different options available. So if you check my previous classes, you will just find out the difference between all sort of all the five different volumes. General purpose volumes, provision as IOPS. These are the two of the SSD solid state drive. So it is a very high input output, right? Read write on the hard disk, and then the hard disk is SSD, and this is the magnetic sort of thing. So if you have not required the high read write performance of the hard disk, you can just map all sort of things, but it required the high read write of options available. So you just need to click here and just map it out. So you do have options available, how much size you require. You can just provide 200, 300, minimum 1 GB and maximum 168,384 GB. So you can choose as per your requirement, right? And this is the default speed. This is 300 or 3000 IOPS, right? And where you need to map this particular, this is the different availability zones available. Why it is a different availability zones available? Because we are in the North Virginia. If you change your regions, right? If you change your regions, and then different availability zones is showing to you, right? And do we require some snapshot? You can just have different by default snapshots are created. If you create your own snapshot, then you can use it your own snapshot same time, right? And do we require some encrypt this volume? So you can just simply click on it, and then you can just provide your master key. If we don't have the master keys available, so you can just provide your own master key, right? So that sort of things we can just create this particular is EBS volumes, different EBS volumes, and then we can just once you created your EC2 instances, and then you can just map with your EBS volumes to your EC2 instances, right? So that the read write and the IOPS will be very high. Then it is mostly used in your databases sort of things, right? So if you're talking about the database, MySQL or different MongoDB or RDS sort of things, then you can use this particular general purpose SSD or provision IOPS SSDs, right? If you have a cold storage, you don't have infrequently access of your data, go for the cold SSD, and because the price is very low, right? So as per your pricing policies, you can just go for it. You can just choose whatever things, and then you can map with your EC2 instances, right? And then you can create all sort of things. So that's about the EBS sort of things, and then you can just move it. You can just create, modify, changes, and depends on the volume types, and then you can just use it out. But the matter of fact that once you just delete it, stop your EC2 instances, the cold storage is running same time, right? So you need to terminate the particular EC2 cold storage from here, going for the EBS, and then you need to shut down the EBS volume same time. Okay, it is chargeable same time. So okay, then we have to move to the different things. EFS basically the elastic file system. So we have to go here, and then we have to go for the EFS, right? So EFS is basically Amazon EFS provides a file storage for your use with your EC2 instances, right? And what we need to do it here. First of all, there are three options are available. First of all, you need to create an Amazon EFS file system to store your files in the Amazon cloud. Okay, a file system grows and shrinks automatically with the files you put in, and you pay only what you use, right? So we can have to create a particular ABS file systems, and then it is automatically grows and shrinks as per the requirement, as per the load on the particular EC2 instances, right? So then for second things, write files and read files from your Amazon EFS file system by using the NFS 4 version protocol. Any number of EC2 instances can work with your file system at the same time, and instance can be multiple availability zones same times, right? So these your EC2 instances will be in different availability zones. Second things we have to understand. And third things, you can easily administer your file systems using the Amazon EFS console, CLI, and SDK software development kit or CLI, or you can just go for this web console. You can just all sort of things you can manage it. So it is very simple to use. Go for it, create a system. So this is the default VPC, right? And we already talking about this. This is basically used for different availability zones. So this is the different availability zones. We are in the Virginia, North Virginia, right? That's why it is showing the different availability zones is here. And the third thing, so you have to configure the optional settings. It will be required some optional settings, and then you can review and create. So this is very simple sort of things we can have to create. So we don't require this as per your company requirements. You have to just different regions you can go for it. So we can going for the two, right? And if you require some keys or sort of things, you can just map it out. Okay, and this is general purpose or maximum input output, what sort of things you require for performance basis, you can choose it out. And this is bursting or your provision basis. If we recommend bursting throughput mode of most file systems bursting. Okay, and provision throughput mode for applications that are required for throughput, not by the bursting and throughput. So this is provision basically used for the application sort of things to be required encryption. So you can just simply click on it here or as per your choice. So we have exactly this is the VPCs, right, by default, and then we have different availability zones available, and we have just configured the subnet over there. It is automatically providing the IP address from this particular Amazon, and then security groups we have configured. So you can just modify the security groups later on, no problem whatsoever, and create a file system simply. So what you need to do it, this is particular VPC, you have to map with VPC to your EC2 instances, then your file system will be shrink it or whatever different availability zones, and then you can just creating. So mount target state is going to be created by the Amazon end, right? So you don't have to worry about it, and the IP address is getting it's automatically because it's a default and it is getting the own IP address automatically, right? So that is depend on the mount targets. You can just map it out later on, and then file sync options available. So what you're going to file option syncing, you have to just made some changes over there. So we are getting started, and we have to sync with particular file systems to particular VMware ESXi of your company, or if you have different Amazon EC2 instances available in North Virginia, you can just simply create a EC2 instance, and then you can just map this particular VPC to your Amazon EC2 instance, so that it will be syncing with your EC2 instances host. Or if you have VMware ESXi available, download a particular image, and then you can just have syncing with your existing VMware ESXi to your ABS. Right, so connecting to agent and activate agent, this is the two settings will be coming, and it's easily to configure it. So that's your own choice where we have to syncing the files or not syncing the files, and also you have available the file systems available. You just have different availability zones available, so you can just map it over here. So this is available, this is owner ID, this file system is available right now, and this is general purpose, right? We have using this bursting type, and we don't require any encryption sort of things. Okay, and these are the some creating we have to just creating the things, and you have to just VPC is available. You can just mount to the EC2 instances, and and then the two availability zones same time just work in picture. Okay, so this is delete file system, manage throughput mode, and you just made some changes over there, no problem whatsoever. So if you want to delete this particular file system because it is chargeable, so we are how we are going to delete it. We have just going here and we have just delete the file system, right? So the matter of fact that whatever you are going to do it, this is you can uh, check the pricing part of the particular EC2 instance, the EFS or whatever we're doing it. Okay, so the EFS is completed, and we have to go for the Glacier. Wait a second, it will take little time to open it, close it. Okay, it's done. Okay, then we have to go for the S3 Glacier. So the S3 Glacier is basically used for the watts, right? The S3 is used for the bucket, okay, and S3 Glacier is basically used for the vault. So Amazon S3 Glacier is an extremely low-cost storage service that provides secure, durable, and flexible storage for data backup and archival. So what we need to do, we have to do in the three things over there. A vault is container that stores archives. Archives is a object and such as photo, video, or document. So you have to create a vault first of all. Set the retrieval policies. How can you retrieve the your files, your objects from the particular vaults? Second thing, right? Third thing, you have to set event notifications. What's going on with your vault same time, right? So the three things you need to configure it. Go for it. Create a vault first of all. So where we have to create a vault first of all. So this is not Virginia. So some of the regions, I don't think so the Glacier is available. So as per the regions availability, you can go for it. And what is the pricing sort of things, you can just check before you're creating your S3 Glacier, whatever the services of the AWS. So we are going to mk create. This is simple. You're just providing the name of the bucket. And do we require some notifications? SNS topic, SNS, do we require some message or not? Messages we can do later on, but we can have options available here. So it's your own choice. Okay, and that's the submit. So your vault is created right now. Okay, this is your vault, and that is also the permissions is available, right? So this is the details of your particular vault. If we have created, this is US East North Virginia, created on this date, vault AR, and this is your ID of this particular vault, and inventory we have not updated till now, right? And this is the notifications we are just talking about. If you require some notifications, go for it, and just create SNS topic. What if you created the topic SNS, your mobile, or you just configure registered on your SNS, then you can just provide it here. Then what type of things you require, what sort of things, then you can click on it, and simply it will be working, right? So the permissions is all about, so what type of permissions we need to provide to the S3 Glacier. That is an important case, right? So this is allow or deny. There are the two types of services. Do we require everybody services, and what type of actions it will required, right? So this is AWS test. If you're going with, if you are simply provide some test sort of things, and then we can just provide some what type of actions do we require. Delete vault, yes we do. If you required all as three glaciers, does this policy applied, permissions applied on the all three glaciers, or who's going to provide? This is everybody, right? And this is as three glaciers applied on the all of the glaciers. So these are the different who is going to apply and what is going to apply. This is permissions. So this is the different permissions available there. Just click add permissions, and then this is the upload effect, allow, partial, AWS star is in there, Glacier. If you are go for it, and then it is configured. So it is not recommended for to allow everyone allow the particular S3 bucket. So it is depend on or your organization or your company that who is going to allow or who's going to deny the things, right? And we require to lock the vault. We can create a vault lock policy. So if you're going to lock the vault, so we have another option is there, test. Principles, what are principles? Everybody can lock it out. Who is going to, what type of, what permissions we need to provide. So describe job, describe what. So this is all about, you can just make some changes over there as per your requirement, and then you can just modify it. And this is all about, we have lock policy of the lock ID. This is the lock ID provided by the AWS, and you can record, you can use for record purpose. So we are just copying here, right? So that sort of things we can just go for it. And this is the tag. You can just different words for different use case. So this is for database, this is for different case, this for different use kind of things. So you can just make some marketing, purchase, sales, this words indicate for what, you can just mention over there. So that sort of things about the Glacier. And you can have options available into your S3. Once the 7 days, 20 days pass, it is automatically going to the Glacier same time, right? So it will be map sort of things, right? So what you need to do here, if you're going to click here, and you have to delete this things, and we have, first of all, you have to check the settings. Is there any different settings? Yes. So once we are creating the Glacier, right? So what the three options are available: free tier only, so the retrieval cost is free. Maximum retrieval rate is 1 GB per hour, and what you need to retrieval cost 7.20 cost per month or less. So what happened in the general scenario, you can store your different object or different things is in your Glacier, but once you're going to retrieve your data, it will charge the money, right? And the third option is available, no retrieval limit. So you can just purchasing page, and you can just go for it. First of all, you once you configure it, and if you're going for the capacity, we require the capacity one, and then you can just buy the capacity unit, cost $100 per month. Okay. So once you're going for the configure this type of permissions, you can just go check the pricing part. First of all, this is the pricing part is also available, right? As per the tier, different things. So you can just go for the pricing sort of things, and then you can find out what's the retrieval cost. This is the expected uh, ex expedited $0.03, and standard and the bulk. So this is the OU. And if you have different regions available, so what is the pricing for different regions, or different pricing sort of things. So this is depend on you what you're going to configure, how to use it. And the data transfer out from the Glacier, Amazon Glacier to, this is CloudFront, this is 0.0 GB. So that's all about the pricing part, right? So that sort of things you can just configure it as per your company requirement, right? And then we have to just delete the vault. So you can simply click on the delete the vault, it will be finished. Okay, so we have just done the Glacier part, then we go for the Snowball. So Snowball is a particularly is a device from the provided by the AWS team, right? If you have data of your organizations more than 10 terabytes of data, then you can use it, the Snowball. If you have data of your organizations less than 10 terabytes, you don't have to use it, the Snowball, as per the recommendation from the AWS. The matter of fact that the AWS Snowball is a service used to transfer data into the cloud at the faster than internet speeds and harness of the power of AWS cloud locally using AWS on appliances. So what happened in general life, because if you are talking about, if you migrate your existing organization's data center to your AWS account, right? So you, first of all, you have to understand that how I send our data, how our data will be, database will be moved to the AWS, right? So if your database is very very increased size, like 10 terabytes or 20 terabytes or 30 terabytes, right? Then you have to just upload your data to the AWS S3 bucket or Glacier, right? So it will take lots of time, and it is based on the internet sort of things. Okay, so AWS recommended that you have to go for this AWS Snowball same times. So AWS Snowball is basically a hardware device appliance from the AWS team, and once you create a job, right, and then they will just send you at your premises of your company, and then you can just plug it into your data center, like RJ45 connector or SFP connector, and then you can just transfer your data into the particular hardware device, and then they will upload your data into the AWS. That sort of concept is there. So what we're going to do it here, we have to just going for the create a job. So what type of job? Do we require some import of the data from the S3? Do we require export data to S3, or local computer and storage? So most of the times that we have to go for the export, because we have to send our data to the uh, Amazon,
Am I,
right? Yes, tell me.
no, yeah, please continue.
Okay, so this is export sort of things. Suppose you are working in organizations, then your existing company required to export your data to the Amazon account, right? So go for the export sort of things. And suppose you have to just import sort of things available. You can just import from the AWS account or different sort of things, right? And this is local compute and storage registries depend on the what different use cases. So most probably we are going to export, or if you're going to import or export, right? So going for the next sort of things, and then you need to provide your address, right, of your name, company address, whatever would be, right? Then you just provide your name and everything, okay, and it will arise in 1 to 2 shipping days. It will take little time to come, right? And when it is comes, then security that provides whatever security required, then some notifications you need to configure it. Is the data is backed up or not backed up? That's the 3 or 4 topics you need to configure same time. That's about the Snowball, or the that in the US locations, right? We have 50 terabytes of Snowball is available, devices available. But other regions we have 80 terabytes of Snowball devices available, right? That is and the Snowball Edge is another device is available, the same sort of things, and with some advanced features. So I already discussed in the previous class. You can just check my previous classes for some recommendations what you need to go for it, and Snowball sort of things. And the storage gateway, we are using it. Storage gateway, that is to this is storage gateway. So storage gateway, where we are using it, storage gateway we required where when you're on premises, like files gateway and volume gateway and tape gateway. Suppose your company is doing a backup of the tape sort of things, right? So the AWS team don't recommend that you have to go for the tape sort of things available. Just map it to your tape gateway, and then we have to just click on this, and it is a VMware site. Download the image size, and then this is 574 MB of files. You can just have to install into your VMware ASXI server or on system, right? And then what happened? This is like connect the gateway of your IP address of your firewall or router in your company, right? And then the activate gateway from the AWS to your premises. It will be done from the AWS end, right? They were connecting to each other, right? And then you have local disk available into your server, and then you can just upload your data same time, right? So that's the sort of things. If you are using the hypervisor 2008 server Hyper-V, then you can just different images are available. Okay, so you can just install it into your server. If you are using the Microsoft Hyper-V 212, you can just this different image available. So same thing is happen. You have to just install it particularly on the particular server, and then you have to provide a gateway IP address, because the gateway is required from your source to destination connectivity, right? The source is your company and destination is your AWS account. So you have to provide the gateway IP address of your company, like your firewall IP address or whatever. If you're using the router IP address, you're sending packets outside. This is the main concept over there. provide it, and then they activate the gateway from the AWS stream, the source to destination connectivity, and then you can configure the local disk same time. So that's the only option available, and you can also map with the AWS EC2 instances same time, but it is not depend on the use cases. But most of the times, if you're using the VMware environment in your company, then go for it VMware ESXi sort of things. And if you have using the different hardware appliances, so you can just buy from the Amazon and you can just go for it. So this is basically used for the tape sort of things, right? Tape backup solution, right? So the second thing is volume based. Suppose you have to just provide some on premises connectivity data will be coming to the AWS S3 bucket same time, so you can go for stored volumes, and this is cached volumes, low latency access of your most recently used data. So go for it, and then the same thing is available there, right? This is a VMware SSI connectivity with this ASXi, and then this is a gateway sort of things, and everything is there. So the connectivity will be happen from the AWS to your on-premises account, and get to activate gateway, and then there's a local disk is available. You can just transfer your data at the same time, right? So that sort of things we are going to do it. This is file gateway, right? The same thing is available, so you can go for it, install this particular ASX image on your VMware environment, then you have to configure it same, right? So that's the gateway. If you check with my previous classes, you just find out more depth technical things into this particular storage gateway, right? So I recommend that you have to first of all go for my previous classes, class number 10, and then you can just find some technical all sort of things, and then you can go for it into the practical environment. That is very easier to understand, very easy to describe things or from my side, right? So that is where I'm going to wrap up this class. So any doubts from your end?
Thank you.
Right, thank you for time, and then we are going to start a new series tomorrow of monitoring sort of things, CloudWatch, CloudTrail, Inspector sort of things, right? So today we are just discussed about all the storage part, right? And we have also covered this particular EC2 instances sometime later, and we have talking about the light shell as well. We are just talking about Lambda and Elastic Bench Stick, and we also covered some VPC sort of things, right? Elastic Load Balancer, auto scaling kind of things. So we are just going for monitoring things tomorrow, and then we have to cover some security sort of things, IAM sort of things, okay? And then we are just include all sort of technicalities in our hand, and then we go for practical how to do it one by one, right? So thank you for time, everybody, and it was a nice class, and thank you very much. We'll connect you tomorrow same time, right?
Thank you.